Hey everyone, welcome back to True Crime Buzz. I'm your host Brittany, and with me as always is Amber.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
2022.
That's right.
Which I saw a thing that said, when you say it out loud, 2022 is just 2020.
TOO. Yeah,
yes.
I saw that and I was
Which
like,
I'm not here for, but...
Ooh, no thanks.
Can we skip that?
Collectively, we all say, no thanks.
Yeah. So how was your holiday?
It was wonderful. How about yours?
I act like I don't know. Like we don't talk every second of every day.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. But did you enjoy yours?
Yes, of course. I feel like I do every year. I'm insanely blessed.
That was the most boss babe shit to ever come out of your mouth. Hashtag insanely blessed.
Hashtag blessed. No, for real though. Every year.
No, I know what you're saying. I just have to give you shit because what is our friendship if I don't?
I know this.
Yes. It was a great Christmas. This was like our first Christmas in our new house. So, you know, a lot of new memories made, lots of happy kids, lots of wrapping paper and trash and tired parents. So,
yeah, lots of trash. Like hiding all the presents and then like hiding all the boxes and everything, but also making room for yourself to just live.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm happy to see all of that go.
Well, as everyone knows, I record in my closet. And so for the whole month of December, I had just like a little square space to sit in to record because all the presents were wrapped in my closet because I have a toddler and she will open a present. I did a test, wrapped some Kool-Aid jammers, put them under the tree, and within
I meant to ask you how that went.
Oh yeah, no, within 24 hours she opened it. So I was like, forget that. The presents are staying in the closet. Oh, and we didn't say, I don't think in the last episode, but Amber and we celebrated Christmas early, but she took me to a tattoo place and we got our noses pierced together.
Yeah.
Which is something we've been talking about for a very long time.
Because what else do two white girl best friends do on a random Saturday morning besides go get their noses pierced?
I don't know. We really want to get tattoos, but we've got to figure that out. We know what we want to do. We just got to figure out how we want to do it.
Yeah, the whole nose piercing thing we've both wanted first. Well, we used to have our noses pierced.
Yes.
And then we let them grow back and then we both missed them. So I was like, you know what? Let's do that for Christmas. Why not?
We've been talking about it for over a year, though.
We really have.
I was really worried my toddler would pull it out, but every day she touches it and she's like, I love your nose piercing. She didn't call it a nose ring, but nose piercing. Yeah.
All right. Well, what are you drinking?
Okay, I'm so excited. So I have a Diet Coke, in a bottle.
Oh, snap.
Fresh, listen to this. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
From one of our listeners, Ryan. We've been friends with him on Facebook and we've even FaceTimed with him. He plays Dungeons and Dragons with my husband weekly and I just adore him as a human. And my husband got to meet with him in person for the first time today, you know, because of the pandemic and stuff.
Yeah.
And he travels for work. And so I thought it was so sweet because I was so jealous that Matt got to meet him. And he sent me a Diet Coke and said, save it for recording tonight. I thought
That's
was
so
precious.
Sweet.
Precious. So shout out to Ryan for my frosty Diet Coke for this evening's recording.
I love that. I am also drinking Diet Coke. Out of a Sonic cup with that good ice.
Oh, I was looking at that like, tell me you got that good ice.
Oh yeah, I got that good ice. Yeah, I had enough wine over the holidays. Like I drank a lot of wine over Christmas. So giving myself a little break.
All right. Diet Coke twinsies.
Oh yeah, personal true crimes.
Yeah, I was about to say, any personal true crimes this week?
I don't think I have one.
Oh, I sure do. It was my entire day yesterday, but specifically this 1 hour period. So yesterday I was doing my therapy and it's like, you know, I do virtual therapy, obviously, COVID. And my youngest daughter woke up halfway through. And so I paused therapy, got her set up with some snacks, TV, her siblings were there. I was in the next room. I was like, guys, please just try to be quiet, try to keep her calm.
Try to not kill each other, try to not burn the house down.
No, about 5 minutes later, my oldest daughter comes running out to me and is like, Mom, baby Sissy's ruined my painting. And she shows it to me and it's just covered in purple paint, which means my toddler had gotten into paint. So I go in there and she's just looking at me with purple paint all over and she's like, hey, Mommy. And I'm like, oh, you need a bath. Yeah. So I had to end therapy earlier. Went to go put her in the bath. One of the kids evidently opened the door. For what reason? Who knows? While I was giving my youngest a bath. And our dog got out. I can't just leave my child who is
who
2
has paint all over her.
Yeah, in the bathtub. So I tell my middle child, like, stay here for just a second. I'm going to run out on the porch real quick, yell for Dexter, our dog. I'm yelling. He doesn't come back. I have to go back, give her a bath, throw her in some clothes real quick, get in the car, go down the road. And how about my douchebag of a dog saw me? I'm holding a treat out the window. Come here, Dexter. Come here. He runs off further. So I have to follow him a little further. Then I opened the door, and that's what did it. It was not the treat. It was the promise of a car ride, and he got in.
Oh, Lord. I was going to say, he got that little taste of freedom. He's like, I ain't looking back.
Yeah, it was insane.
Dog's way of thinking is just so weird sometimes.
It is, because that's the most spoiled and loved dog, and you can attest to that because you see how he lives a life of luxury. But I was like, really? You're going to run away from this life? For what?
Yeah.
The bitch down the road?
Literally.
Yeah, but the bitch down the road doesn't like him, so I don't know why he keeps going to her.
He's trying, though. Mm-hmm. No, I really don't have any personal true crimes. Life has been really good. Like I said, #blessed. But I do have what should be a true crime.
Okay, what should be?
Self-tanner.
I agree.
Not the using of self-tanner, because I use it. It's how messy self-tanner is.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, first off, I hate that I have to use it, but I'm so pale. But it, like, gets all over my bed sheets.
Okay, hold up. Because you need to rephrase this, okay? You do not have to use it. You choose to use it because it makes you feel better about yourself, right?
Correction. I choose
No one
to
has
use
to
it.
be tan. Pale people are beautiful. Dark people are beautiful.
They are.
And everywhere in between.
Okay. Look, I was tan my whole life. I was literally raised in a tanning bed, and no, that's not healthy now, but different times.
Yeah.
So, I started getting spots cut off of me that looked like cancer, and it scared me, so now I use the fake and bake.
I would prefer that. Yes, I would.
And it's fine. It's just, it's so messy, and you gotta stand there and let it dry. It's ridiculous. It's 2022. Why do we not have the technology for something easier and better?
Yeah, I can agree with that. That makes sense.
But anyways.
Okay, so I'm dying. I'm so dying. Please tell me, who are we covering? Tell me the story.
Yes, if you listen to other true crime podcasts, or if you're super into just true crime in general, you may know this story, but Brittany does not. So I'm very excited to tell it to her because it is a roller coaster. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Woo!
Yeah, a lot of woo and a lot of oh.
Oh, okay.
Today, I have yet another unsolved case. I know, I'm so sorry. But this is one that we really need to discuss because, like I said, you don't know anything about it, and I'm dying to know your opinion. And this deserves as much attention as possible because this poor family needs answers.
Okay. I'm always here to help families get answers, so
yes.
About it.
On January 11th, 2013, the body of 17-year-old Kendrick Johnson was found rolled up in a gym mat at his own high school in southern Georgia. There have been several autopsies, lots of lawsuits, but still no answers. Kendrick Johnson was born on October 10th, 1995, to parents Kenneth and Jacqueline Johnson. I searched and couldn't find a whole lot about his childhood or his upbringing, but it was pretty obvious he really loved sports. He was very active in football, basketball, and track, and had dreams of being a professional football player. That's what he wanted to do. And he played all of these sports at Lowndes High School in Valdosta, Georgia. All-star athlete.
Yeah, that's great.
On January 10th, 2013, Kendrick's mother became worried when he never came home from school. She checked with his father, several family members and friends. Nobody had seen or heard from him. So she immediately filed a missing persons report that night. And good for you, Jacqueline, because I can't scream that from the rooftops enough. You can file a missing persons report at any time when someone goes missing. Don't let them tell you, oh, I would wait 24, 48 hours. They might suggest that, but you are legally allowed to file that report as soon as you want to. So,
and especially not with your teenage kid. Out of here with that.
Oh, I'm sure they told her, oh, I bet he's just out at a friend's. Oh, yeah. Or he's probably out.
They try real hard to push that, but don't listen to that bullshit. And don't believe the shit on TV, because they always act like you have to. No, you don't.
You don't. So the next morning, on January 11th, she went up to the high school to see if he had ever showed up. Maybe he did skip out and went to a friend's house.
Yeah.
He didn't. He didn't show up for class that day and did not even show up for the final period of class the day before.
Oh my
goodness. So he went missing during school hours.
Lawsuit?
Oh, yeah. Several.
I'm sure.
While she was at the school handing out flyers and just asking students questions and if they had seen him, just trying to find any sort of evidence that he had been there or where he could be. Around 10:30 a.m., staff was alerted that they had found a deceased body in the school's old gym, and it was confirmed to be Kendrick.
Oh, that is the absolute fucking worst. School is supposed to be a safe place for your kids to go, and that's a mountain I will die on, and that is some bull fucking shit.
Yeah.
And what year was this? This was recent.
2013.
Get the hell out of here.
And what just breaks my heart is that she literally saw him the day before and everything is fine. He goes to school and then within 24 hours, your son's dead body is in the gym. I can't even process that.
No, I can't either. And obviously this happened during the school day and that is so fucked up. Mm-hmm. How did no one know? It's my question.
Oh, we'll get into those juicy details. Apparently, a student had noticed sock-covered feet sticking out of the top of a rolled-up wrestling mat standing in the corner of the gym. Kendrick was found upside down vertically inside a 6-foot-tall wrestling mat that was rolled up. He had one arm stretched out above his head while the other arm was down near his waist. And there was also a pair of orange and white Nike sneakers tucked behind his knees, with a separate black and white Adidas shoe above his head where he was reaching up, laying in a pool of blood and vomit, but no blood or vomit on the actual shoe itself.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I got pictures.
Okay.
So this is the gym, and as you can see, there's these little bleacher things up against the wall. It's a small set of bleachers, so maybe 3 levels, and then these mats in the corner.
Okay.
So he was found inside one of those mats. His feet are up, and his head and his arm are down towards the floor.
Okay. And you said there's a Adidas shoe in there, too? Whose shoes were whose?
So the Adidas shoe underneath his hand was actually his shoe. The other shoe was found close by on the gym floor by itself, and it was clean of any blood.
Okay.
There was also a Hollister hoodie found on the gym floor nearby, and there was blood spatter on the gym wall that was kind of down away from Kendrick.
Okay.
That's the blood on the gym wall.
I wonder where it's at in terms of, was it near the mat or is it further away?
It was kind of further down.
Okay.
The blood on the wall was tested because it was blood,
right.
But they determined that it didn't belong to Kendrick and that it had been there for some time, quote unquote. And so they didn't do any further testing, and they didn't test any of the other clothing items or the shoes that were around.
Oh my God. What in the hell?
None.
The hell?
There was also another pair of orange and gray skater-style shoes nearby that actually looks like they have blood on them. We don't know if it's blood. It looks like blood. And they did not belong to Kendrick. And these also weren't sent for testing.
Oh my God. That looks like blood. That looks like
dried old blood.
The only other thing I can think is maybe paint, but that should have been tested. It looks enough like blood.
Wasn't tested at all.
Oh my
They said
Jesus.
that's not Kendrick's shoe, so I guess it didn't matter. I don't know. But it's
Okay.
hello, if it's the killer's shoe.
Thank you. Already not pleased with the police work done here.
Yeah. So as far as where are all these shoes and clothes coming from? So they interviewed several students and they told investigators that it was very common to sit on top of the rolled up mats.
Yeah.
Which at first you're like, what? But as a kid, I remember sitting in the weirdest places.
I mean, I sat on the bleachers when they were folded up. I would hoist myself up there and sit up there. Why?
Yeah. Because if you remember, the bleachers were kind of right next to the mats. And so they'd walk up the bleachers and then hop up and just sit up there and chill.
Yeah.
And they said it was also common that after gym or whatever sports practice they had, when the mats were rolled up, they would just toss their shoes or clothes or whatever in the top of it and then just come get it for their next class rather than putting it in a locker.
Oh, okay.
So I'm wondering if he was in there and somebody didn't know it and they just tossed their shoes in there.
I don't know.
But they weren't his shoes.
Maybe, since they were not his, perhaps. Because, if you killed someone, would you throw your shoes in there? I would hope you're not that stupid. You know what I mean?
Right. So based on all of this, along with the placement of Kendrick's body, like I said, his arm was reaching up.
Right.
Well, down because he's upside down, but you know what I mean. It was above his head. The sheriff's department initially ruled it as an accident within 24 hours.
There ain't nothing accidental about this.
They said that Kendrick either fell or purposely went into the mat reaching for that shoe and then realized, oh, I'm stuck and couldn't get out, and he suffocated to death.
Okay, but why the blood and vomit? Maybe the vomit, but why the blood?
An official autopsy was performed on January 14th, and the findings by the medical examiner confirmed their theory. It says, quote, "It is my opinion the cause of death in this case is positional asphyxia and the manner of death is an accident," end quote.
Nope.
He just got stuck and suffocated to death, was their theory.
No.
Like, how and why?
No. I just, like, I don't, that doesn't even, the evidence says otherwise. Like, sure, maybe he was asphyxiated.
Could that happen? Maybe?
But I don't
like,
think
what are
there's
the
anything
chances?
accidental about it. Like, what if
No.
somebody put this kid, like, this kid got in there and somebody, like, rolled him or something like that, and maybe he suffocated that way, but I don't feel that there's anything accidental about this. I'm sorry. No.
The whole crime scene just sounds so suspicious to me.
Oh,
and
it is.
Even the more we find out as we go, it gets nothing but more and more suspicious.
Okay.
If you feel this way now, you're going to fuck up your closet by the end of this episode. You're going to be throwing clothes and shit everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
So they deemed it a terrible accident. Case closed, right?
Mm-hmm.
No. Kendrick's family said, hell no. We
Yes.
disagree with this decision.
Hendrick's family. Yes, way to push back.
So they gathered friends and family and protested in front of the school. Kendrick's father even went as far as to physically attempt himself to show people, I cannot get my body, which is similar to my son's, in this mat. Like, the geometry of it all don't work. So the shoulder span of him and his son was 19 inches wide.
Okay.
He was found in a 14-inch diameter hole.
So even with lifting your arm up to make it...
Even with lifting your arm up, it still wouldn't be enough to get into that small of a space.
Okay, but so then I have another question, because this makes another question for me. If kids used to throw their shoes in these mats and stuff, then how did they retrieve them? Did they knock over the mats and just get them from the bottom, or...
Very good question. Very good question. The mats, while they're big, were very light, and they
Yeah.
would just tip it over and get it out from underneath. They never got it from the top.
Okay, then, so then that right there, why the fuck would Kendrick have done that? He wouldn't have.
Right.
Period.
Also, the mats are exactly 6 feet tall. And
Yeah.
Kendrick stood at 5'10", just at the top of his head to his feet. That's not including his arm reaching up. So even if that's how he was found, I feel like a majority of his body would be outside of the mat, not just his feet peeking out.
Yeah, I mean, at least, I would say, like, oh God, I'm bad at math.
At least from the knee down. Like, I
That's
feel
what
like
I'm
even
thinking,
if
yeah.
that's what he did and he got a little stuck, I don't think he would be at a point where he could not free himself based on his height.
No, well, and two, how hard is it? Like, if they're lightweight, you could just tip it over and
Yeah,
then,
you
like,
could just like wiggle around
wiggle
and like
out.
tip the
Yeah,
thing
no,
over.
I don't. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Cover up. Also, though, if people did that and they threw their shoes in, like, wouldn't someone else have been in there? Like, so wouldn't somebody else have thrown their shoes in with him after gym, or gone to retrieve their shoes as well after gym? I mean, if that's a common thing.
Yeah, I mean, the family said even if he did get stuck, like, how come nobody heard him screaming? How was he on Earth by himself? Like, it was the middle of school day.
Yep.
You're not in a gym completely by yourself.
The sketchiest shit I've ever heard.
And the family also didn't think that the investigation, regardless of their findings at the end of the day, just was not thorough enough. They were
No.
very quick to rule it an accident. They were very quick to just not bag up anything as evidence. Like, they didn't feel that they were getting treated very fairly. And I agree.
I concur.
So they publicly announced that they believed Kendrick was murdered and hired an independent company out of Orlando, Florida to perform a second autopsy,
Yes, Johnson.
and
family.
hired a legal team of attorneys Benjamin Crump and C.B. King, a reverend from the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and the former president of the NAACP. They got a whole team going because they believed the case wasn't being taken seriously due to the color of Kendrick's skin.
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't know that they're wrong. If this was a pretty white girl, I don't
Exactly.
think that that would have been the case. So I'm siding with the Johnsons on that shit.
And I agree with you. On May 8th, 2013, the judge granted the family's request to have Kendrick's body exhumed, because at this point he was buried, but they wanted to do another autopsy.
And you know, I always feel that's so painful. Like, why
Oh,
can't y'all
God,
get the
yes.
autopsy right the first time so these people can just leave their loved ones buried?
I know. And it's like, as a mother, you should never have to bury your child, and you should
Twice.
never have to bury them twice or
Yeah,
3 times.
Get the hell out of here.
But they did, and this autopsy had very different findings and suggested foul play. So according to the pathologist who performed the autopsy, Dr. William Anderson, in his report, he deemed the cause of death as blunt force trauma.
What?
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck you gonna miss some blunt force trauma in the first autopsy?
Just wait, girlfriend. I'm telling you, you're gonna fuck up your closet if you're not careful.
I'm already over here. Like,
So he ruled it that way because he found hemorrhage in the soft tissue in the right side of the neck and the jaw area, including the carotid body. And he said it was, quote, consistent with inflicted injury, end quote. In his final statement, he did say that the manner of death is, quote, unexplained, but apparent non-accidental, and further investigation is indicated to determine the etiology of the injuries, end quote. So he's basically saying this was not an accident, but I can't tell you what it was.
Well, yeah.
He disagreed with the original decision of accidental positional asphyxiation, not only because of the blunt force trauma that he found, but also because there has to be fluid in the lungs to make that determination. And the original autopsy report didn't have that in there. It didn't say anything about the lungs. So he's like, well, how can you rule it that way if you don't have the fluid in the lungs?
Cover up.
The coroner's report also added fuel to this fire. Lowndes County Coroner Bill Watson said he was supposed to be notified immediately of any death to do his job, and he wasn't notified until 6 hours later. And he documented that on his report and said, quote, there was no cooperation from law enforcement at the scene. And, quote, the body had been noticeably moved, end quote. But back to the second autopsy result. This report also stated that his internal organs, we're talking pretty much all of them, including his lungs, his brain, his stomach, his liver, were all missing and replaced with newspaper.
What?
They were gone.
That doesn't even make sense because they embalm you, right? They don't just take your brain. They're not out here taking brains, are they?
I don't. So
brain snatchers? Jesus.
Okay, so first off, sketchy. But the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the GBI, they stated the organs were never removed after the first autopsy. Because in the first autopsy report, they don't say anything about the organs being gone. They actually go through each organ system and say, this is what we found, this is what we found. So they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. But the coroner said that they were removed because they were so decomposed and that this is standard practice for the funeral
home. And replaced
home.
With newspaper?
That's what the funeral home said. They said that the organs were missing upon arrival, and so they replaced them with newspaper and sawdust, and that this is common during embalming.
I could have gone without knowing that.
Yeah, but see, that's what's weird is...
It's sketchy. I've never
heard of that. And there is some like board of, I think it's the medical examiners. Yeah. And they say that this is not common practice. So
okay, yeah. I've never heard that. And I have a cousin who I adore who studied to be a mortician. So
let us know.
Mara, if you're listening.
So first off, why is it missing? And if it is, that's fine. But also, like, the dude can't even do his job for the second autopsy about the lungs because the lungs are gone. So he can't confirm or deny the lungs having or not having fluid in them.
Okay, this is just getting so damn sketchy. I don't even know, like, what are these people trying to cover up? Because it's something. It's something. Otherwise, why are you not doing your job, taking organs, like...
Like, who takes organs?
They're organ snatchers. I mean, if you snatch organs, it's from a live person so you can sell them on the black market. Now, I'm not encouraging you to do that, but I'm just saying people that do snatch organs, they do that. You have to be alive for it. So what the fuck are you going to do with a dead person's organs?
Well, if they give any indication as to what really happened to Kendrick and they're going to give that away, it's, oh, well, we had to dispose of them because they were too decomposed. So we just threw them away. Like,
okay, let me tell you something. Okay, these people here are not doing the fucking math, but in the words of Kevin Gates, I'm going to keep adding up and we're going to figure this shit out. Okay?
So, again, points for the Johnson family. They don't put up with nobody's bullshit. Nobody's.
Thank God, yes.
So, they attempted to sue the funeral home for mishandling their son's body.
As they should.
And they thought maybe there was some sort of cover-up going on. They weren't sure. However, at the end of the day, the lawsuit was later dropped. I don't know details about it. I don't know if they gave up or if they reached an outside agreement. I don't know.
Well, didn't the funeral home say that they weren't there?
Yeah, the funeral home is saying he was missing his organs when we got him. This was not our doing. We just replaced his empty cavities.
Well, right there in the future, funeral homes, if organs are missing, maybe notify the family to avoid lawsuits because then you don't look like you're covering some shit up for some people.
So even though the lawsuit with the funeral home was dropped, the findings in the second autopsy that suggested foul play was enough to open a formal review of the case by U.S. Attorney Matthew Moore.
Okay.
Kendrick's family hoped that this would lead to officially reopening the case. So they were hoping maybe if he took another look, they could reopen the case and also open something called a coroner's inquest to reclassify the cause of death.
Okay. To match with the second as opposed to the first. Yeah.
But for some reason, that request was denied.
That's stupid as shit.
Also, in October 2013, an anonymous donor offered a $10,000 reward for any information in Kendrick Johnson's murder, while friends and family continued to march in protest to try to get more awareness about the case.
Good for that anonymous donor.
Very sweet. So we've made it through the crime scene bullshit. We've made it through the autopsy bullshit. Now we're going to go through the school's security footage bullshit.
Oh my God. Yeah, I did think about that. I thought this is 2013. How could you not know?
Right, because there's cameras.
Yeah, there's cameras. Gotta be.
Yes, so the footage was originally withheld, so not off to a great start.
Excuse me?
Yes. But the Johnson family and their attorneys publicly requested these tapes. So it kind of like, put them on blast. And so they were like, oh, well, gotta look at them now. And CNN in November 2013, they got word of this case and the bullshit going on. And so they were able to actually officially obtain all the footage from the school on behalf of the family to help them get some answers.
Okay, CNN.
Right? They were able to obtain almost 300 hours of school security camera footage from all 35 cameras. Now, before I say anything further about what they found, there are two very big things to remember.
Okay.
One is that the timestamps on these cameras, each camera has its own server and its own clock. So they're not going to be the exact same timestamps.
Okay.
Kind of like stuff in your home, like your oven, your microwave.
Coffee maker, yeah.
Right. They're all kind of on their own thing. So they're not going to match up exactly when something happens.
But they should be rather close, correct?
Should is the key word there.
Okay, of course.
And another thing to remember is that some of these cameras are not constantly recording. They're motion sensor. So more like when light changes or movement is detected,
okay,
they'll turn on. And when it picks up motion, it's not smooth footage. It's like clips, more or less. So those are two very important things to remember. However, they are no excuse for what they found because there are still lots of discrepancies in those timestamps and a lot of footage just straight up missing. For example, CNN also hired forensic analysts to look at this camera footage, and they found that 2 of the constant recording cameras were missing 65 minutes of footage, and others were missing over 2 hours of footage. And the real punch in the gut about all of this is that the area of the gym where Kendrick's body was found, where those mats were...
You're going to tell me that camera was out?
Nope. The camera was working. But that point of view of where that was too out of focus and too far away. It's on one corner facing the opposite corner where the mats are, but it's so far away, and the way that camera is angled, it's blurry where the mats are, and you only see the bottom this much of each mat. You don't see the top of the mats.
Oh my God. So is Kendrick on these cameras at all? Did they see him?
The only footage we have of Kendrick was him walking through the school hallway. He went to school that day. He's seen carrying his little yellow folder, like going to class. Around the time of him going to the gym, it shows on multiple cameras him coming down the hallway, walking into the old gym. They even have cameras where he's like running laps around the gym, like playing basketball or something. The timestamps are off, but you're able to match up the images together to get the exact time. So he was last physically seen on the gym camera at 1:09 p.m. timestamp, but they said it was more likely to be 1:28 p.m.
Okay.
There are a lot of gaps in the footage at this exact time period that like none of the cameras work. They just kind of go black, and it's from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m.
Who turned off those cameras? That's too coincidental. I'm sorry. No,
right.
I don't believe that shit. I'm sorry. And then it just starts back working. No, somebody turned that shit off.
Or the cameras were working, and before they were given to police, somebody went in and edited them.
Didn't think about that. Yes.
The forensic analyst says a lot of the footage they were given, some of it's crystal clear, some of it's not, some of it's cut, nothing adds up, nothing matches up, some of it's just blank, empty, nothing. He's like, it's clear that somebody tampered with it.
The police, the school, these are the two places we need to be looking for answers because they're the only ones that have them.
So now that the Johnson family saw all this, they filed another lawsuit in 2014, this time against the school and their Board of Education.
Absolutely.
Accusing them of wrongful death. And accusing them of some sort of cover-up, which the school, of course, denies.
I bet they do.
And this wasn't just because of the suspicious camera footage or lack thereof, but also because there are 2 students that Kendrick went to school with, Brian and Brandon Bell. They just so happened to be children of an FBI agent and rumored to not have the most friendly relationship with Kendrick. So it's almost like, did they do something and then go to daddy for help and then, you know...
That seems really plausible, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not like trying to throw shade on some kid I don't even know his name, but that seems fucking plausible here.
Right. So when interviewed, both Brian and Brandon, they deny any involvement, and they even called Kendrick a friend. They said, no, like, he was a friend of mine. I hope we find out what happened to him. Like, they deny everything. But Kendrick's mom, Jacqueline, she says, no, they were never friends. In fact, they even had an altercation on a school bus like a year before. So it's all he said, she said. Nobody knows for sure.
I always am going to believe the mama.
Yeah.
Unless it's Casey Anthony.
Right? Put that on a fucking bumper sticker. Always believe the mom unless it's Casey Anthony.
There you go.
I will say, though, the forensic analyst that went through the footage was like, okay, well, if they're suspicious, where are they on the cameras? Let's leave Kendrick out of it. Where are Brian and Brandon? One of them was in class, so he had an alibi, and the other one is seen on a camera at the opposite end of the school at the time that he was supposedly, he was murdered, because that's how I feel. So they seem to have pretty tight alibis as far as the cameras, but again, there's footage missing. Well, it looks like stuff was taped together. Like,
yeah, if it was messed with, who's to say the fucking timestamps weren't messed with? Like, get out of here.
That's not evidence to me.
No.
And in 2015, the Johnson family took it a step further and filed a $100 million civil lawsuit against pretty much everyone involved in Kendrick's case. 38 people total, including Brian and Brandon, their father, the FBI agent, Rick Bell, the principal, the superintendent, even like the crime lab, police, sheriff's department, literally anyone that had any ties to anything in this case. They were like, you. Yeah. 38 names. They stated that they believed that Brian and Brandon killed Kendrick and that their FBI father, Rick, teamed up with the school authorities to cover it up. However, this was simply nothing more than a theory. There is no evidence to support any of this. And even Kendrick's father said that. He said, look, I know that we're going on gut instinct here. We don't have any evidence to prove this. This is what we feel happened.
Right.
So until you tell us otherwise, we're going to fight for answers for our son.
Yeah, and at that point, it's like, oh, you know what? Let us reopen it. That's what they should have done.
Right. You don't have to believe me. Just do a little more digging and do your job.
Well, at this point, could they even? The organs are missing. They didn't test all this evidence. Look, I'm all about cops who do their fucking jobs, but I cannot fucking stand it when police officers do not do their job. And, like, this is a case where
clearly nobody was doing their fucking job.
And it feels like it was for a reason. It feels like it was for a reason that they didn't do it. It's not like, oh, we just got lazy or weren't, really. Like, it was a reason. Was it racially motivated? Perhaps. But I also truly feel like there's something even past racial motivation going on here.
All I know is I feel in my heart this poor kid was murdered and rolled up into that gym mat.
I don't even question that.
And it just makes me sick to know that they're just so quick to write off. It was just a weird freak accident. And like, they don't want to hear anything more about it. It just infuriates me.
And for me, that part of it is definitely racial injustice because, like I said, if this were, Katie with her bouncing blonde curls and green eyes or whatever from the suburbs,
homecoming queen,
it wouldn't be that. And I don't know the Johnson family's financial status, but it doesn't matter. They were a black family. And obviously, I think that's why they were so quick to write it off and not worry about it.
Yeah. So since there was no evidence to support any of this, they withdrew the lawsuit, but they were in turn sued themselves, the Johnson family.
What?
For defamation charges. They were sued for $1 million in defamation charges and $850,000 in attorney fees.
Did the people that sued them win?
They did win, but I know that at least the attorney fees, they dropped down to, I think, 300-something thousand, but the defamation charges, I think, stand.
No, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. You shouldn't be able to sue a family that their child died on your fucking property.
I mean,
where they're supposed to be safe for trying to get answers.
I get it, but I try to look at all sides.
I mean, I get that.
Like, if we went to school with somebody that was brutally murdered and we legitimately had nothing to do with it, and their family is saying Amber and Brittany murdered them,
no.
suing
Okay,
them.
look, no, I get
See what I'm saying?
Because it doesn't matter if they had anything to do with it or not. That is a place where your child is supposed to be safe. You have to sign all sorts of papers for who even can pick up your kid. I mean, it's just, you're supposed to be the safest fucking place.
Right.
And a child was killed on your property. Somebody needs to be held liable in the county or whatever for that.
So after all of this, on June 20th, 2016, the case was officially closed without any charges, stating, quote, after extensive investigation into this tragic event, I know.
Extensive investigation? Oh, I hope you choked on some goddamn bubble gum while you wrote that.
After some kind of investigation into this, I won't deny it's a tragic event. Federal investigators determined that there is insufficient evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that someone or some group of people willfully violated Kendrick Johnson's civil rights or committed any other prosecutable federal crime, end quote.
Sufficient evidence, because you didn't test any of it. You didn't look into any of it. There's fucking bloody shoes. There's blood on the wall. There's hoodies. You didn't test any of that shit.
No.
You dumbasses. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry to get so heated, but
I knew you would.
Oh my God, this baby. He's so sweet, and he was so young, and school's supposed to be a safe place, like I said, and this is bullshit. I will die on this mountain. Kendrick Johnson was murdered.
I'm telling you, this is a mountain I will die on.
Fuck these people for not doing more to get answers for this family.
Well, we aren't done yet, or I should say, rather, the Johnson family wasn't done yet. 2 years later, in January 2018, they requested Kendrick's body be exhumed yet again for a third autopsy. God. Which they said in interviews, we do not want to exhume our son's body yet again. We're just trying everything we can to figure this out.
Right.
And I don't agree with this. They had the autopsy, the third one, performed again by the same Dr. William Anderson. I don't know if it's because they trusted him to maybe take a second look, but I feel like I would have reached out to another really highly accredited.
Yeah, not that you didn't trust that person, but then you have two people that have performed autopsies that have said, this is a murder, if that's the way, the autopsy pans out.
Right, but they did. Dr. William Anderson performed a third autopsy, which had very similar results, of course, but there were a few new details. He did say that there was blunt force trauma initially found on the neck, jaw area on the right side. And this time he also noticed blunt force trauma on his right thorax intercostal area. So the rib area.
Oh.
So more blunt force trauma.
This sounds like a fight or something that went really bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And so the Johnson family put all of this together in the form of an official appeal in November 2020. And so in March of 2021, the case was officially reopened.
Hallelujah.
This may be a very tragic story, but there is one hero in this story, and his name is Ashley Polk.
Okay, tell me about Ashley Polk.
He was a Lowndes County sheriff who actually came out of retirement in 2019 to request and obtain all 17 boxes of evidence to try to get some closure and some answers for this family.
Yes, Ashley.
Yes. He said, quote, if there's questions and they're legitimate, I need to know the answers myself. The only way I'm going to know is to look at the evidence myself. It's going to be a lot of work, but I think the people deserve it. I think the family deserves it. End quote.
Preach.
Love this man.
Yeah, good for you.
And he even says, he is coming out to try to find the answers, but he's not said, I think he was murdered or I think anyone did a bad job. He just thinks, I want to look at this for myself and also see
what
if
happened
I can
to
help.
This boy for his family. Yeah,
he says he refuses to say if he was murdered or if this was a freak accident until he has all the facts and he can give his honest opinion.
Well, and that's how it should be.
And that's how it should be. Mm-hmm. Not 24 hours later, oh, it's an accident.
Mm-hmm.
A week later, the Johnson family was offered a 25-second voice recording that they actually purchased for $1,000 that seemed to be a confession from the killer. The supposed confession was taken by a family member of this killer. In it, it says, quote, they're gonna catch me anyways. I should have never done this. I was young and stupid. Kendrick didn't deserve this. They're gonna catch me anyways. But after 2 months, they determined it was just a cruel joke.
That's not fucking cool. Fuck
No.
that person.
I don't know who it was. They never said.
Person. I don't know, but they should have charged them with some shit. Ooh, but I've learned so much, even just the past couple of years, how people will really take advantage of missing people's family, murdered people. I mean, they really will. They
really will. And it's really fucking sad.
So fucking sick to me. I hope those people burn in hell.
Yeah, there's a special place in hell for people like that. I fully believe that. And as of today, that's really it. Like I said, that was even up until March 2021. And there's no updates yet. So he's still digging and looking. So I have hope.
Ashley. Yes.
No charges have been filed yet in the death of Kendrick Johnson. We are still waiting desperately and hoping for some answers. But more importantly, just some closure, like I said, for the sweet Johnson family.
Yes. Justice for Kendrick.
I will link all of our sources, as I usually do, in our show notes, including all the autopsy reports. But there's also a YouTube video I'm going to link by, I don't know if they're a podcast. I don't know if they would consider themselves a podcast or not, but they're on YouTube. It's called Truly Criminal. And they did a really good job of going through everything I said, but they put in clips from CNN where they interviewed the families and they went through and looked at the pictures and the video camera footage and everything. And they did such a good job. You really should go watch it. It's the same information, but it's if you're visual like me, it like really puts it into perspective. There's also a documentary that came out called Finding Kendrick Johnson. I think it's only available on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
I think it's like $5. But from what I understand, there's stuff in there that is not public knowledge. It took 4 years in the making for this documentary. The family is very involved in it. They're part of it. So it's not somebody out here just trying to rip off a juicy story. It's like it's the family working with these people, pleading for help and for everyone to watch it. So when I find it, I will link it so you can go watch it. I haven't watched it yet, but I plan to.
Okay. Well, you let me know.
But that is the story of Kendrick Johnson. And I know you didn't know it before, but you definitely won't forget it now.
I will never forget this story.
Love our podcast? Then hit that subscribe button and leave us a review.
We're also on Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/truecrimebuzz and join today for access to all our exclusive content, including bonus episodes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at TC Buzz Podcast.
And check out our website at www.truecrimebuzz.com.
Until next time, cheers!